What's happening, fellas? Thank you for coming over to the DFS 5-pack. It is September 18th, Friday night, big slate by baseball standards. We were talking about this earlier. I can't remember being bigger than 12 games. We used to get 15 games every Friday unless the Cubs playing during the day. But I think 12 is the max we've seen all year, so a big slate.
Massive slate tonight. A lot of good spots all over the board. So if you like guys that we didn't bring up on the video, it makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of good plays tonight. We spent a while in the members only one talking about that. So that being said, let's kind of get into the action that we got at our disposal today. NFL is up and running. Congrats to your Browns last night on a solid win. Joe Burrow is going to be a player. Congratulations to the Heat for another big win last night. We are in the middle of what I can only call one of the best times of sports we can remember, with MLB playoffs coming up soon and everything like that. A lot to be excited about.
A ton to be excited about. Sports all over. DK slates all over. Overlay slates all over. Speaking of overlay, why don't you tell them about it?
All right, guys, we've mentioned this already. We'll mention it for a while. We've started a cross promotion with them. This is only for brand new overlay players. Sorry for anybody already playing on there. But if you've considered playing on it, go sign up, screenshot your deposit, send it to me so I can give you a free membership. It works this way. $50 deposit, free 2 weeks. $100 deposit, free month. $500 deposit, free year membership. And $1,000 deposit would get you a free lifetime membership. Take that money, instead of giving it to us, play with it, make yourself some money, and still get the membership.
Yeah, I mean, can't beat that deal. I keep saying it, but kill two birds with one stone. It's always a great when you do that, you can't beat it.
All right, next up, guys, day passes are up. Click the thumbs up button if you don't mind. Subscribe to the station. So let's get off of what the chalky pitchers today, because there's I swear we went through about 8 pitchers on members only and how relatively even they are. Maybe it was 7. But one guy we came up with at the end is Chris Bassett of the Oakland Athletics. And I have to assume he's not going to get a ton of love tonight. But we like him as a potential GPP pivot off of the chalkier starting pitchers people are looking at. So a couple of things to like right here is, one, very likely no Yastrzemski for the Giants. I would bet good money he's out of the lineup today. I think he's getting an MRI, which does not bode well for him playing today. And Bassett has an ERA just over 1 in home games this year. And Oakland is dominant at home, 18-7, good park for pitchers. I think you can get him at, 5-10% ownership today would be my guess.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that he's relatively low owned, somewhere around the 10% range. And we brought him up on the members only video, and I like him a lot here. Watched a bunch of him and Minaya recently. They've both gotten a lot better, as the season's gone on. Bassett specifically in his last couple of starts, as you mentioned, he's been better at home. Gets a Giants lineup without their best hitter, a lineup that we like better versus lefties, in a nice pitcher's park. Price considered, I think he's my favorite pitcher on the slate. I'm definitely going to have exposure here. I like him a lot. If I were making one lineup, I think he'd be in it. I like the fact with pitchers, again, I don't really care how popular they are. But when I like a guy like this, yeah, I'd rather have him be lower owned because I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, and we don't have that guy today like Bieber last night.
No.
Where you just lock them in and throw away the key. There's a bunch of guys in the slightly under 10K to I think it's mid-7s price range that you can take a look at. I would not be surprised if Bassett's 2%. We skipped over him for a long time and didn't really talk him up till the end because a bunch of other guys in this price range that are probably a slightly better play on paper.
I would not. Okay, so I agree, but I also disagree in the sense that I would not be surprised if he's 2%, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's 20% either.
Fair enough. No arguments here.
Yeah, I think we see it pretty similarly.
So I think your favorite offense of the day, correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be the Chicago White Sox. I think there's a little bit of a narrative here I'll let you get into. But Jose Abreu, hey, we brought him up last week. He went for 52 DK points. I'm not calling for that again. I don't think that's a possible, what's going to happen. But this guy should be the AL MVP, in my opinion. Wind blowing out tonight in Cincy, which is already a super easy park to hit home runs. A lot to like right here. And why don't you tell us about the narrative part of this that you like?
So first off, they're just really good. We talk about this a lot. I mean, they're one of, if not the best offense for DFS purposes. They hit a ton of home runs and they steal a lot of bases. Abreu's been their best hitter, been their leader. Red hot right now, double digits in 3 in a row. I've watched a bunch of this White Sox team recently. Not playing their best ball, but I kind of got the vibe that they were almost, playing with a little bit of hesitation because they wanted to clinch this playoff spot. The White Sox haven't made the playoffs since 2008. You could tell it was a big deal all over. Finally clinched yesterday after Jimenez got the game leading RBI single. It was almost like a monkey went off their back. I love the idea of a free and loose White Sox team going into Cincinnati, a really good hitter's park with the wind blowing out at very low ownership with the Dodgers and the Yankees, eating up a ton of people's rosters tonight, roster space. There are a bunch of offenses in good spots. I think you can take a look, and like I said on the members only video, about 10 stacks I think are in play tonight. The White Sox are one of, if not my favorite.
All right. Speaking of the chalkier plays tonight, the Los Angeles Dodgers against, we'll just say he's not a Cy Young candidate for the Colorado Rockies. And Corey Seager, the shortstop, who is very affordable tonight by the standards of this team, with Betts and Bellinger both being around 6K. He broke out of his mini slump last night. He had been, I won't call it like a downturn, but for, a week or so, he had not been great. Looked real good last night, kind of broke out of his slump. You know how confidence matters a lot in baseball. Great spot overall for this offense. Good hitter. Also, he has faced tonight's starter 3 times. He walked him once and homered twice.
Yeah, so Castellani is a guy that been a lot of smoke and mirrors this year. I know I was trying to pick on him up his first couple starts big time, and he got out of those starts looking like damn near Cy Young. That being said, he still doesn't profile well, especially for a guy pitching in Coors who's a pitch-to-contact type pitcher. We talked about this on our members-only video. The Dodgers are in play all over tonight, but Seager is our top piece. Very affordable for Coors Field standards, especially with guys like you mentioned, Bellinger and Betts priced up. I mean, he's not even the highest priced shortstop on the slate. It's hard not to like him here. Whether you use him in tournaments or not, do your thing, but it's hard not to like him.
All right, so let's talk about what I have to assume will be chalk tonight, and that is Giancarlo Stanton of the New York Yankees. Went 4 for 5 with a bomb last night, so got it going. You guys, it's Stanton against a lefty for 4,300. He's going to garner love tonight. He's faced Perez only a handful of times in his career, homered twice already. We know the damage he does against lefty. Even though Perez has been good this year by his standards, he's not a guy you're scared of in the slightest, especially when you're a Giancarlo Stanton coming in hot for 4,300.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to like here in all formats, especially cash games. You look at that price tag, a guy that everyone wants to play against lefties that's been out most of the year. His ownership's going to be really high. I don't care what projections say. In my eyes, he's going to be one of the top 3 highest owned hitters on the slate. And for good reason. I mean, he's a guy that hits massive home runs against lefties. Perez, while he's been fine this year, is certainly not a guy that we're, recommending not picking guys against. There are a ton of offenses in play tonight. I'll say it, and I'll say it again. So I don't think you have to go to the Yankees in tournaments, but it's definitely like a fade at your own risk type of look.
Yeah, they're rolling right now. Just been absolutely on fire the last 3 days. And while we could always get off of chalky outfielders because there's so many other good ones in play, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the most popular hitter on this slate at this price tag against a lefty that people love to pick on. He's going to be insanely popular, and that's a reason to fade him. But as you mentioned, you said it, fade at your own risk, because if this guy comes in 60% owning cash games and say 40% in tournaments or whatever it might be, and he hits a home run, walks, and doubles later in the game, and everybody has him, it doesn't mean you can't overcome it if you get your picks right, but you're behind the 8 ball a bit.
You're big time behind the 8 ball.
All right. So one guy that we're going to talk about now is with another team that I think comes in as a lower owned stack tonight. And I think the big point with the White Sox and the Padres is they're also really, really good. A lot of people, as you mentioned, are going to go to the Yankees and Dodgers for all of the obvious reasons we've always touched on. And I can't fault anybody for just going that was a little bit too dirty, going all in on those teams. But the Padres are going to be a little lower owned, and they got a guy for 2K. That I think you can get, like I said, at pretty low ownership.
Kikuchi is another one of these guys. He's been better this year. We've seen an uptick in velocity. He's still definitely not a guy we're afraid to use hitters against. This game is technically a home game for Seattle, but it's in San Diego because of the air quality in Seattle. Kikuchi's been bad on the road. He's pitching in San Diego here. You get the extra at-bat in San Diego for these guys. And Onya...
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so Onya is a big... power hitting prospect that raked for them in the minors. That's been pretty good for them recently. And he's 2K. I mean, we've seen these Baltimore guys as big time chalk at 2K. And I think Onya should be that guy tonight, but he's not going to be because people aren't really aware of it, and he gets lower in the order, which is big time. I
Also,
love
late
seeing
announcements of the lineups.
Yep, late announcements to the lineups. He's not a guy on anyone's radar yet either. So I like the White Sox a lot. I like the Padres a lot. This 2K price tag helps a lot. Both the White Sox and Padres aren't crazy expensive, but they're expensive enough where a 2K guy certainly doesn't hurt you. Like you mentioned, wanted to bring them up as a nice lower owned stack. He's a nice lower owned piece of that stack. I like him a lot here.
The other point that we haven't touched on yet, but it's right down there, is their former catcher, the guy who knows Kikuchi very well, Aaron Nola, is now a member of the San Diego Padres. I know a lot of you guys don't love baseball and you just like playing DFS, which is why you dabble in this. But if you don't understand, like Nola is telling his teammates today exactly what to expect out of Kikuchi because this guy caught him and was telling him what to do for a while. So they should have a pretty good idea of what to expect today, which puts them in a good spot.
Amen.
All right, guys, that's what we got for today. Click that thumbs up button, sign up for a membership, sign up at Overlay, let me know about it, send me a screenshot. Have a wonderful Friday night. No football tonight, and basketball's already locked in, so concentrate on your baseball lineups.
Thanks, guys.